Spurs tactics. Well, Klopp came out and said Tottenham set up a 5-3-2, and when they won the ball, they kicked it as far as possible, and Kane and Son were on their bikes.
I think it's absolutely ridiculous. You play up against their weaknesses, and their weaknesses are in that high press and the room in behind. So I find it really, to your term, unnecessary from Klopp, and I'm really surprised to hear him come up with it.
Do you want to know, Ali, who had more long passes in the game, Liverpool or Spurs? If only there was some way of taking a look at the stats for this particular fact. Here they are in all their wonderful glory. As you can see, it is close, in fact, between Spurs and Liverpool. In fact, Liverpool had 14 passes over 50 metres compared to that of Spurs of only 12. So I suppose if you add up both of those, Liverpool had more long passes. It's ridiculous, isn't it? But there we go. Right. Liverpool had more long passes than Spurs.
Well, the assessment of the game by Jurgen Klopp is accurate in the sense that, yes, Spurs were looking for the counter-attack. Oh, we're all surprised that that's what Spurs were trying to do in this game? We all could have told you that this is exactly the way that they would set up. Absorb some pressure, go on the counter. But it wasn't playing the ball forward just for the sake of playing the ball forward from Spurs. There was a purpose to their counter-attack opportunities and how they were able to exploit the spaces in behind. So it wasn't just, let's just kick it up there and see what happens. There was a plan, there was an execution of that plan, and in the end, Spurs got what they deserve out of the game.
It was interesting, Robbo, listening to you on the Gab and Jules podcast, Gab, where you were sitting in for him, and you said that you felt that this was a fair result, which Liverpool fans, I imagine, would question, given the fact that at 1-1, they should have had a penalty. Spurs should have had Harry Kane sent off as well. Just go into a little more depth as to why you're wrong.
Well, you're talking about decisions. I'm talking about the flow of the game, and in terms of the way the tactics were played out and the way that the chances came about, and Tottenham created lots of good chances. We saw the chances for Son when he was 1v1 against the goalkeeper. We saw Dele Alli get through on a couple of occasions. We saw Harry Kane should have scored. Yes, Liverpool played well when they were going forward, but they were vulnerable defensively. And I think we're going to talk about refereeing decisions and should people be sent off. But what we should be talking about as well, it was a fantastic game between two sides who played at very much their maximum to a certain degree.
Yeah, it was. That's a fair point, as much as we will dwell on the officials and the mistakes that they made. Overall, considering some of the dross that we've seen, Shaka, over the last few months, this was fantastic.
It was. And credit to Spurs who themselves have not been at their best up until now and showed a side of them, and as did Harry Kane, that we hadn't seen before this season. It was a really good game of football, decisions apart, between two good teams that seem on the up. We've made a lot about Spurs, as I just mentioned, with their slow start. They have games in hand, and all of a sudden now the top four is within touching distance, and you're seeing a side of them that suggests that they're going to make a run at it.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.